Do you know what's at the one-off, Barry?
Apple.
Other than Apple?
Mediacorp.
Mediacorp? No. Alright, so we're heading to the hill at 1 North today. We're actually heading to the Showflat, so that's at District 3 in the Prince Charles Crescent, like Queenstown, Red Hill area. But the actual site is actually at 1 North, the Silicon Tech Hub of Singapore. Yep. Do you know what's at the 1 North, Barry?
Apple.
Other than Apple?
Mediacorp.
Mediacorp? No. There are other companies there. There are like there's like Razer there. There's Grab. There's like Procter and Gamble. Yeah, even Walt Disney is there.
Walt Disney?
Yeah, Walt Disney.
I didn't know they will have one in Singapore.
Yeah. So I think this development is quite interesting because it just launched like about a month ago in April of 2024, which is last month. 30% sold already. There are some, because it's only 30%, what it means is that if you are looking for, like a new launch project in the 1 North area, maybe you work, I don't know, Buena Vista, or your kids are going to school at NUS, you want it to be nearby, then yeah, I think this project is something you can check out because there's still a good selection of units available. Right, later we'll be joining Joanne at the Showflat itself, and then we'll take you around, share with you a little bit more about this project. Alright, see you. Alright, we just arrived at the hill at 1 North Showflat. Hi Joanne.
Hi everyone.
Alright, so we're going to head in, and then we're going to show you a little bit about talk a little bit about the project, some of the project facts, location.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we're also going to have a look at some of the Showflat units here.
Yes, and of course the very beautiful site model that's right there as well. So let's just head right into the Showflat area. So in fact, coming on in, I think the first thing that you'll notice right away is this huge board that speaks a lot about the developer of this project itself. So this is a Kingsford project group that actually developed this project right here, the hill at 1 North. And of course, Kingsford is nothing new to the whole industry. They've built a lot of beautiful projects, including Kingsford Water Bay. You have your Kingsford Hillview Peak that's over at Bukit Panjang site, closer to the Hillview area. And of course, the most recent one, which is also not too far away, that's Normanton Park.
Mega project.
Correct, mega project.
Huge.
If you've been down to the development itself, you also notice that it is done up very, very nicely. The land size is huge, and they've also executed the whole architectural design of the project very, very well. So I think it's great. In fact, for this particular plot, that is where the hill at 1 North is taking, that's actually Slim Barracks Parcel B. And if we actually look back in terms of the land bid period, there were total, I think, about 10 developers who were actually vying for this plot of land. So that really shows the amount of interest that developers have and shows the potential within this area as well. In fact, I think Kingsford also got it at a good price, just about 2.4% higher than the second bidder. So that really shows that, I think a lot of developers are also putting their eyes and interest into this plot of land. So I think before we talk about the model itself, the site plan, let's also chat a little bit about the location right over here.
Yeah, so I think location-wise, we have tons of MRT connectivity, 6 minutes walk to 1 North, to Buena Vista. So I think if you are somebody that's working in the Biopolis, Fusionopolis, basically the entire 1 North Silicon Tech Valley, right? I think this will be a very convenient location, right? And also I think if you're going towards the other direction, towards Buena Vista, you also have the interchange station right there, so you can hop onto the green line and then move on forward from there as well. Something interesting, right, is the schools.
Yes.
Right, so I think the school connectivity, the schools wise, if you have primary school going kids, Fairfield Methodist Primary, and then after that, if let's say your child grows up in this area, you can move on to Fairfield Methodist Secondary, and then Fairfield Methodist Secondary is also affiliated to ACJC, which is Anglo-Chinese Junior College. And even when they grow up to university, they can also move on ahead to the National University of Singapore, NUS.
So if you look right around the location, right, you notice plenty of schools that's within this entire Dover, Buona Vista area. In fact, it's almost like a lifelong educational district that takes you all the way from your primary school to your top tier universities in Singapore. And aside from that, we are also surrounded by plenty of international schools as well. So for investors who are also hunting for this area, I think that is something that's interesting for you to know. So here, this shows you the full list of all the primary, secondary,
so many schools,
international and tertiary as well. Of course, just to point out, within 1 km we have Fairfield Methodist. Of course, Henry Park is not within the 1 km, but a little bit short of that, within the 2 km mark still. But again, you look over right here, a lot of your secondary, tertiary, international schools, so that also speaks a lot about in terms of your future rental demand that's going to come into this area as well. I think education-wise aside, the other point that we really want to talk about is also the commercial activity that's surrounding the hill at 1 North. So if you look around that area, again, I think nothing new to a lot of our audiences. The Buona Vista 1 North area is also surrounded and enveloped by all your commercial nodes from your media production side towards the media circle. You also have Biopolis, Fusionopolis that houses all your medical industry, tech firms, startups. So again, even in terms of rental demand, you're also looking at the top tier professionals, PMETs that are coming to this area. Maybe they're working in the area and they're sending their kids to the nearby international schools. So I think in terms of the unit mix that we're going to see later, even some of the larger layouts, 3 and 4 bedders, will also be very popular as well.
Yeah, and I think in terms of like companies-wise, big brands, big companies, Razer, Grab is right here, even Apple, and I also saw that Walt Disney is also here. So I think definitely a very bustling kind of a growing like a commercial node and hub, right? Because of course with that, I think as Joanne mentioned as well, tenant pool. Definitely, I think in terms of the number of projects. So if you actually look at what's kind of available, if let's say you're working in the 1 North sector, right? You want to rent a space. There are only this many developments. I think there are only maybe four.
In terms of if let's say you're looking within 500 meters to the 1 North of Buona Vista MRT, within 500 meters, just a couple of projects that you're looking at. In terms of the supply of the units, I would say just slightly over 1,000. But yet, in terms of the schools that's surrounding the area, in terms of the commercial node, the rental pool, the professionals that are working in this area, you can tell from this sort of ratio that in fact the supply is very, very limited, but yet there's a lot of demand that's looking into this area as well.
So I think if you combine the 1 North sector and if you add on the greater 1 North, right, we have almost about 70 over 1,000 people that work in this district. And I think just now, even if you zoom out further, let's say we pull up the map a bit further, right, to the 1 kilometer radius plus Normanton Park, there's only about, I think, 4,500 odd units for rental, right? As compared to 70 over 1,000 people, that's only, I think, maybe about 6% odd. So definitely, I think this area needs more residential kind of a supply coming up, which is where I think we have this project right here, the Hill. Later on, we'll dive a little bit deeper into the type of project specs as well. And I think one thing interesting also, this developer decided not to build 1 bedders. So it starts from the 2 bedder range all the way up to 4 bedders. In terms of the project mix-wise, you have predominantly, I think, 2 bedders and 3 bedders, which are close to about 40 to 50%. And there are only about, I think, 4% of 4 bedder units.
Limited as well, also because I think in terms of the location, I think the developer is also very tactical in how they want to spread out their unit mix across the different configurations. So if you can see here, I think it's quite clear. Definitely they are also targeting a lot of the investors, tenant pool who are coming in for a rental, but yet they still sort of thoughtfully allocated a certain unit configuration to the 3 and 4 bedders. Of course, 4 bedders very limited in supply. I think about 6 units or so, very limited. You have still some of the 3 bedders.
One stack only.
Yes, 3 bedders that's available. So over right here, this is in fact the entire site map of your hill, the hill at 1 North. And if you notice along the base ground level, we also have a row of commercial units as well, and that's where you find your car park that's above all these units. And this is in fact your entryway and you can see the beautiful sheltered drop-off right over there. And I think it's also nice once you have a sort of a quick glance over at the entire segment, you notice all our facilities decking is also elevated. It's not on the same level as your road, so I think that also gives the owners and the residents a bit more privacy as well. Yeah, with that segregation.
Yeah. And of course, if you are a family living here, right, if you have kids, they can play, you know, like in kind of peaceful and serene environment, because no cars will be going up to, actually all the facilities deck is parked on level 3. Your ground level and 3 level, that's level 1. And then level 2, you have mainly predominantly your car park area as well. Yeah, so I think very good use of this elevated kind of terrace kind of terrain. And that also gives rise to the way that the blocks are built. So if you look at, Barry, if you can just zoom in, right? It's built on this like very elevated kind of structure. The residential units actually start from level 4 to level 11 for block 15 and 17. And then there's another medium height block which starts from level 4 to level 7 only. Yeah, so this block in particular, block 19, right, is quite interesting because it's like a point block kind of setup, because only 4 units per level. And all of them are 3-bedders, 3+ studies.
Correct.
Right. So, so the common question, right, that buyers like to ask is, oh, my lift, right, on my level, how many units does it serve?
Yes.
So if you are concerned or somebody who prefers a bit more privacy, then I think this block is suitable, because every floor the lift only serves 4 units. As compared to the other blocks, which are a little bit more bustling, that is about, it serves about 8 to 9 units per floor level.
And also that's also where for blocks 17 and 15, if you are going for the 2-bedder or 2+ study, this is also where you'll find the stacks. Block 19 is predominantly reserved for all your 3+ study. So I think that's great for a lot of more family profile. Maybe they might be going for this block. And another thing that I would like to point out as well, you notice all the blocks are also sort of elevated even from your facilities deck. So again, that gives the owners, even let's say you are on one of the lower floors, say for instance level 4, that still gives you a sort of a height distance away from all the roads and the ground floor level as well, which is a pretty common thing that we're noticing in a lot of the new launches these days, whereby the lower floor is also elevated. So I think for investors who are really very savvy and going in for kind of like a quantum play, in fact I think level 4 units are also great options to consider for the Hyatt One North as well.
So actually, I think that even if you are at level 4, because of this buffer that you get, right, like Joanne mentioned, you get more privacy, more kind of insulation from what's kind of going on the ground levels. It also allows more kind of space, because you have lawns, you have pools here. When you're kind of like bringing your family or bringing your kids down to scooter around the area, right, you don't even need to go outside of your development. That gives you more kind of height clearance. You feel that it's like a high ceiling, because this level, I think you at least get about 4 to 5 meters kind of a ceiling height from where you are at on level 3. Yeah, and I think this terrain is also very interesting because as we circle around, maybe Barry can come with me. This project is built in if you see, right, there's a undulating kind of a terrain, so it elevates as it goes up, and right beside it, right. So this is like a trapezoid shaped kind of land. So 3 main facing you get. If you want park facing, this is One North Park. Then you see this very beautiful playground and all that, right? This is actually a public kind of park, but technically it kind of belongs to, sort of belongs to you in a sense. There are multiple side gates. I think there's about 3 of them that allows you to access via the different blocks. Right, so even if you're at block 15, which is at the start, you have a gate somewhere there. Even if you are here at block 19, there's also a side gate located over here if you look below. Right, and even a lift that serves the different levels from level 1 all the way to level 3. Right, so your kids can just come on out to the playground, play here. There's no cars in this area as well, so I think it's very safe. And this park is like so beautiful. There's like swings. I don't know. This is like a very modern kind of playground. So you technically get to live in, although it's the Silicon Valley, but you still have all these greenery parks, you know, nature areas that kind of envelop your development. Right, so this is one facing.
Correct.
In fact, I think this is going to be one of the most premium facing. If we look at later, if we dive a bit deeper into the units that have been sold, right? Like for example, stack, I think stack 12, which is this stack over here, the 3+ study, which is also the Showflat unit. Later we can show you. This stack is entirely sold out already, because I think this is one of the stacks that enjoys like this whole space of unblocked view. And the other facing, basically, you have some of the internal facings, which face the facilities like the pool and the other common facilities as well. And then the third one will be along Steam Barracks.
Yes.
Rise.
Correct.
Steam Barracks Rise, yeah. But even that road, right, Steam Barracks Rise, although it's a road, I think it is also not very heavy traffic, because if you look at the map, right, maybe if you can come over here, it's just a slip road from the main road, North Buona Vista Road. So if you see where that red plot is, I don't know if they're going to connect in future. Currently, I think it's only a one-way entry. Yeah, I don't know
It looks
whether...
like a dead
Yeah, it's a
end
cul-de-sac
right now.
basically. So, very private kind of space. Yeah. So what's beside, actually on this area, is the NUS, I think it's the Alumni Club.
NTU Alumni
Club.
Club.
NTU Alumni Club. Right, so that's going to be probably low rise, going to stay that way.
Yes.
Yeah, so probably the higher floors, if you're considering this facing, this is actually towards the northeast facing. So north is this way and kind of northeast that way. Yeah, so these blocks are a little bit more tilted versus the other two.
And if you, I think another sort of concern for some of the buyers going for new launch projects is also the fact about where all the substation, the bin center are also located. So if Barry can just look over at my iPad, you'll notice that all these sort of services and utilities, like your substation, your bin center, are actually tucked right down at first story, whereas your units are starting from level 4 onwards. So all these are also nicely congregated and separated down towards the lower floors. There wouldn't be any sort of major impact to the residents over right here, even at block 15 itself. So I think, again, developer has also put in thought to solve a lot of these obstacles for the buyers as well. So that is already easily resolved. And yeah, so I think before we maybe head into the show flat, let's also just do a quick roundup in terms of the facilities wise. So you have a huge lap pool that's right in the center of the entire development. Clubhouse is right over there at the same level as your pool, and you have another BBQ pavilion that's over at the top of your clubhouse, again fronting towards your beautiful lap pool. Plenty of pool decks over at this area. You even have a forest canopy pavilion that's sort of nicely tucked away at that corner. And then if you moved over towards this intermediary between block 17 and 19, you also have your gym that's nicely tucked in over at this corner. And I think another note, something else that really struck me was in terms of the landscaping and greenery, how they've done all the architectural design to ensure that this project, while you have all these concrete skyscrapers that's lining up 3 blocks right over here at the hill at 1 North, you still have plenty of greenery that's nicely planted. Throughout the entire project, you still have a lot of greenery that's nicely planted throughout the entire project that still creates that sort of connection to nature and allows the residents and tenants to come back and have that sense of coming back to home as well. So again, I think very, very beautiful touch, nicely executed by Kingsford as well. So I think enough of the site model. Maybe let's head over to check out the first show flat unit. Shall we start with the 2-bedder first?
Let's go.
Okay,
2+
let's
study.
check out the 2+ study right over here.
So again, just a quick recap is that there are basically 2 bedders and then there are 2+ studies. I think the way that the plus studies are done, right, are done in a very functional way. Later we can have a look as we head in. So this one actually is the 764 square feet model. So if you come on in, right, so we are heading in from the balcony area, which is where it leads into the the living zone. So potentially, of course, this is where the TV feature wall would go. You can do your TV feature wall here, storage and all that so far. So I think good viewing distance as well, right? And I think I'll start with the study. So if you come on in here, right? So it's done in a way, why I say it's functional is because certain study areas are a little bit more exposed, but this one is tucked away in a corner. In fact, if you really want to kind of like soundproof because you're doing Zoom and all that, you can install a sliding door, I think, in this area as well. AC unit actually is already provided for, so you can also work separate from whoever's in the room. Let's say if you're staying with your partner, your spouse, and they're using this room, or your kids are kind of using this room, you can separate it. Or if you want to make this as a dedicated study area for your kids at home as well, that's also possible. So very good size. You can still put in, I think this is probably at least about 1.2 meters, 1 to 1.2 meters. Good study kind of a space. I believe this is a flip down bed, right? So you can also consider to do that if you have maybe a third or potential guest that's coming over. One of the ideas, but take note, these are ID treatment, okay? And yeah, maybe.
So over towards the bedroom size area, of course right now we're already just fitting in, developer has fit in this single bed right over here. Your wardrobe is nicely tucked over this corner. Another potential idea that you may want to have, since our study is actually just right adjacent to this particular bedroom right over here, if let's say you want to sort of size this up to a queen or even a king, another potential idea is you could even shift your wardrobe over to that corner, and like what Marc mentioned, just add in a sliding door and convert this into an even larger, maybe sort of like a master bedroom kind of configuration for yourself. Shift your wardrobe right over there, and here you have the entire room space for your bed itself. I think very comfortable in size, because right over here towards the study area you also have another AC that's already done up as well. So if you want to convert this into a full-fledged walk-in wardrobe, definitely possible to do so. And once you head out, so this is more of like a dumbbell dumbbell kind of a layout. 2 rooms on both sides. Your dining setup is actually right over here, and very, very good size sort of alcove, because you are able to comfortably fit in a 4-seater over here as well. And then towards my left, this is where you find your common bath. And of course, because this belongs to one of the smaller layouts over here at the hill at One North, so do take note there's no windows over here at this bathroom. Of course, you have a vent right over there, but plenty of storage. Your cabinetry is already all done up with your bottom vanity. Shower set over right here. I think the brand is all Kohler, so again, quality fittings that's right over here as well. WC wall hung, again very nice touch. And then towards where your main door, main entrance is at, you have this small little corner that is where your kitchen is at. Right now, I think it is sort of, you're buying it as such, but of course if you want to, potentially you can still add on a sliding panel over here to enclose this, because the sort of segmentation is really nicely done up for you. Kind of like a dual galley setup for your kitchen. So you have on one side where your oven, your cooker hob, as well as your hood, Electrolux brand right over here. And then over here you have a good size sink with plenty of top and bottom cabinetry, so no lack of storage space. And then if you flip over to the other side, this is where you have even more countertop space. Again, your bottom cabinetry, and then this is where you have your 2-in-1 washer dryer, again by Electrolux as well. Plenty of top cabinetry, so no worries even if the unit that you're going for, let's say for this particular 2+ study, doesn't come with like a bomb shelter or storeroom per se. You'll see that the developer has really nicely done up all this, did not scrimp on all the carpentry, plenty of storage space right over in the kitchen area for you. Yep. And then coming back over here.
Maybe we just take an intermission, right? So I was kind of looking at which of the units are sold. So I don't know, Barry, you can see this. Basically, the blue ones are your, the darker blue is the 2+ study. So if you noticed, stack 13 and stack 14. Sorry, stack 13 is a 2-bedder, stack 14 is a 2+ study. Very well received kind of a unit. In fact, I think the 2+ studies are one of the top selling units in this development, right? And so let's head on to the master. So I think right now you already have a king bed put in. You can still put in your 2 side tables, and of course full height windows in the master, right? So this is how it kind of looks like. So you have, I think, a center panel that gives you this unblock. Basically, there's no frame in the middle, so allowing you a better kind of a view out into the open, right? And these windows are, I believe these are top hung because of the windows, the handles at the bottom. And then the wardrobe spaces are also done already. It has this interesting brass finish if you look at their cabinetry. So this is to give it that premium kind of look as well. Nicely blended into this. Is this bronze? Sorry, I'm a bit color. Is it bronzy?
A little bit like a bronzy, taupish, gold.
Yeah.
Very interesting and
premium
unique
finish,
color.
yes. Yeah. And then even the laminates have this like a leatherette feel. Leatherette, right, is the word.
Yeah.
Yep. So not too bad. And if you head into the bathroom, this is the master bath. So very spacious. I mean, I'm pretty big size, if you all know, right? 1.9, right? So this is very good size. Storage, I think, below the sink as well, and then you have storage here as well. Yep. So plenty of storage, and they even gave you very thoughtful kind of little shelves so you can, I think, put your diffusers and things like that, so it doesn't get wet if it's sitting on the countertop, right? Wall-mounted Kohler WC, and it's all built in. The flush system is Gerberit, and the shower facilities are all Kohler as well, so rain shower. And I also noticed that they've even installed a little rack here, so I think very thoughtful developer. All the stuff that you need in the bathroom is already there. Probably don't really need to install anything else. So I think that's great. And yeah, so that I think sums up the 2+ study. I think the way that it's designed, right, Joanne, it's so practical. Even if you're a small family. Actually, I was thinking, even this room, right, if you have 2 kids, you can actually combine them, right, and build a door here.
Yes.
They can technically sleep in the same room, but still have a little bit of segregation. So maybe at night they don't like disturb each other and stuff.
And also because of the placement of the study area, you notice maybe in certain other developments, sometimes the study may be placed right at the entrance doorway. But I think this is also nicely sort of positioned in the middle, so that gives you plenty of flexibility in terms of the usage, how you want to use it for your own family needs as well.
And one last thing, I think even if you're buying this unit for rental play, because just now we talked about rental demand, right? Actually, if you seal up this place, this tenant can technically get a 1+ study. And technically this bathroom will only used by this tenant as well, because the other room is a master ensuite already. So you can rent out to 2 separate tenants. They technically have their own mini separate space, because it's also a dumbbell fashion kind of layout. Okay, let's head on to the other show flat. That's a 3+ study.
So for some of the stacks for this particular configuration, I think like what Marc mentioned, some particular stacks have also already been sold out. So this is just a quick glance in terms of the floor plan for this particular layout that we're looking at, a 3+ study. So the size you're looking at, inclusive of your balcony and your AC ledge, actually stands at about 1,012 square feet. So study is actually nestled right within the center, a pretty much standard kind of layout where all your bedrooms are tucked nicely over at one end, and then you have your dining, living and balcony that stretches out all the way, which is right where we are at over here. Your balcony size, I think a pretty decent size. Once you zip track it up, again, an extension of your living area, good size as well.
And also one quick fact, right? Actually, I learned that if the bedroom size, right, so now it's written 9.2. If it's at least like 8.5 square meters and above, generally you can put in a queen size bed. So that's a quick fun fact. So if you all go to show flats and you want to know whether you can fit a queen size bed, you can just look at that. Usually it tells, gives you a very quick calculation. Alright, so coming into the space, I think living room is good size. Now they have a 2-seater, but if you can see there's like an ottoman, I think this is ottoman / side table. You can definitely go up to a 3-seater. And if you are going to zip track that balcony, which I think it's quite common nowadays, you have a extension of your living
indoor,
kind of
outdoor, you can do your alfresco dining, your BBQ, because this is also not a sort of odd-shaped balcony. It's not a long sort of strip of rectangular balcony. It's pretty, I would say, a little bit more squarish in a sense, and very, very functional, and definitely can foresee your dining setup right over at the balcony. But otherwise, if you choose to keep it indoors, then this is where you can potentially have your dining setup as well. Very nice space that's really sort of segregated outside here, and then right along your entryway, plenty of sort of space for you to do up carpentry as well. In fact, this area is also potentially where you can do up more shelvings for you to just place your keys, some grab and go items right over at this corner. And this leads you all the way to your kitchen. So for your 3+ study, it does come with an enclosed kitchen. So this is where you have your sliding timber door. That gives you the opportunity to do your wok hay and heavy cooking if you want, because right over here for 3+ study, developer has also upgraded all your kitchen appliances. So for your cooker hob, you have your 3-burner stove. Again, similarly, your oven and your hood by Electrolux also done up right over here. And this one, I think in the 2+ study, we didn't have a window, but for your 3+ study, you do have a huge window that's important for your ventilation as well. Larger sink size, and similar to the 2+ study, you have sort of like a dual galley, plenty of countertop spaces for you to do your meal preps, your cooking preps, and then your fridge by Electrolux as well. So nice space for your kitchen, everything that we need And closable door, window for ventilation is already all provided for your kitchen area. And of course, you notice this wall line is actually pretty long. In fact, if you want to amp up your storage capacity within your living, you can also do a full flush of carpentry works right over here that can double up as your TV feature wall, and also even more storage, some shelvings maybe for your kids' books, games and stuff like that. So I think this is also a nice sort of idea.
Yeah, and you also can throw in that additional shoe cabinet, basically one whole wall of storage, shoe cabinets, like storage spaces, TV console feature wall. Yeah, so I think great layout. And as we head on in, this is where the study is done a little bit differently here. So it's more like a open concept style. So you do get your AC as well for this particular space itself. So right now, I think this table is only about 1 meter, 1.2. But if you need a larger table, let's say you are a family of 2 kids, this is going to be their homework area. And you can basically elongate the entire table as well. This is probably, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost, I think you get maybe about 1.8 to 2 meters of space. Then of course you can do that hanging cabinets to store all their assessment books, worksheets, etc. Or if you want to use it as a workspace as well, you can carve out half to be a workspace. The other half you can keep it for pure storage, like what they've done in this space. Right, so I think having open studies are great in a sense. It's a little bit more flow in terms of if your spouse is kind of watching TV and you're doing work, you can still kind of interact with each other, right? So I think that's also a very flexible use of this space. Or if you do not need a study and you want to convert like a huge additional storage space, this is also where you can kind of do it, right?
Just throw in some shelvings, or if let's say you have a grand piano, you can also tuck it nicely over here that doesn't eat into your main living space as well. Yes. So looking at the bedroom sizes, I think like what Marc mentioned, all the bedrooms here can easily fit in your queen. So right here for your first bedroom, for this 3+ study, developer has also nicely fit in a queen to just give you an illustration of the size that we're working with. Still good amount of walking space, and then again, like what we saw over at the other unit, sliding doors for your wardrobe that runs all the way up to the ceiling, and you even have this internal LED strip that's already nicely done up for you as well. So I think this also reflects the kind of modern lifestyle that we have right now, and of course developer also wants to weave that into their architectural design. This is where we have our common bath, and for this layout, because it's a larger layout, you notice we also have the ventilation window right over there. So that's a great important factor that buyers are also looking at. Size-wise, pretty standard.
Pretty good size, So this one I think is a little bit different in a sense. Instead of the swing doors, you have the sliding kind of concept. So I think sliding door panels always save you more space. You don't have to kind of like swing it open into your area here. Similarly, the shelves that we see earlier as well, the Geberit flush system, Kohler WC, Kohler sink, and I think you have the Kohler tap as well. Yes. So I think common bathrooms, very good size. And as you enter into the master, so right now you have a king size already fitted in. The 2 side tables are also built in. Similarly, the wardrobe tucked away in the corner, right? That same window kind of setup here as well. So I think this is actually quite rare to find in some of the developments, because usually they have that center beam kind of running across. So this one I think is purposefully done so that you can enjoy the view looking outwards.
Yes.
All right. And master bath, similar, but what's in the master bath is you get the swing doors, so you get more space. Not sure if this lights up. Looks like you can install some kind of a LED strip inside, and then maybe you can light it up from the 3 kind of panels here, especially for the ladies if you are doing your makeup in the day, right? Or if you need to kind of turn on the lights, I think this is where you can probably install it. Storage spaces below as well. Pull out. So in terms of the materials wise, for your flooring and your wall, all these are porcelain tiles. Very neutral finish, I must say. So I think easy to maintain. I think the flooring should be a little bit of an anti-slip feature as well. Feels that way,
Yes, and then towards the shower area, a little bit of a slope that runs down towards your shower area, so that keeps the wet area contained over on that side. And then I think before I wrap up this unit, there's also the second bedroom that's in the middle here. So size-wise, pretty similar to the other third bedroom, flooring for the entire unit. In terms of the bedroom, you have your engineered timber flooring and timber skirting for all the bedrooms. So also do take note, this project is also PPVC, which means that you are unable to hack down the walls in between. They will come as such, but I think the bedroom sizes are already decent and good enough, so likely don't have to do too much. But this is where you are allowed to sort of pump in your flexibility and then sort of reconfigure this space to however your family needs it to be over at this study area.
Okay. Yeah, so actually I was also just having a look, right? Like if let's say I am somebody, Joanne, that wants to buy a new launch, maybe I'm not in a hurry, I can wait maybe a few years.
Yes.
So for the Hill at One North, the estimated TOP, I think it's about December 2027.
Yes, 2027.
And then there's another project that was launched earlier last year, Blossoms by the Park. So that is already about 91% sold. The only units available, I last checked this morning, was one 3-bedder, which is the penthouse unit, and then the rest are all 4-bedders. I think it's about 22 units of 4-bedders.
Yep.
So here, I mean, if you are really looking at maybe perhaps you're working in the One North area, or your kids are maybe going to school at NUS, or if you are a new family wanting to move into an area where your kids can kind of grow up all the way from primary school, secondary school, JC.
And not having to move multiple times.
Yeah, not having to move multiple times, right? You can consider maybe one of the larger units here just for a little bit of future planning.
Yeah.
You have quite a plethora of kind of a array of units to choose from 2-bedders all the way to 4-bedders here right now, because there's still about 70% of the units available. Yeah.
And I would say, if let's say, like what Marc mentioned, if you love the area, you believe in the One North narrative with all the transformation and rejuvenation and the businesses that are coming to this area, and you have maybe missed out on Blossoms by the Park, then I think this would be your next best chance to come in, because looking at the PSF pricing right now, I would say the balanced units are also trending at about 2005, 2006, which is today's RCR new launch kind of pricing. Because if you look towards District 15, your Grand Dunman area, a lot of the balanced units right over there also hovering around this PSF range. So I would say, if let's say you are sort of looking into this Silicon Valley side, the western side, you believe in all the exciting opportunities around the area, or maybe your family are still staying within this area and you are within proximity to all these business nodes, then I think this is still one very, very good option for you to consider in today's market as well. Yes.
Yeah, I think in terms of a price point, let's say you're quantum, right? It's quantum sensitive, or you're looking at the quantum. 2-bedders actually start here from 1.9. Of course, those are the lower floors, and then 3-bedders actually start from 2.4. 4-bedders about 3.1. As compared to like at Blossoms, what is transacting recently is actually already in the range of about 2006 to 2007 PSF. At Hill at One North, actually our PSF is going at about 2005 to 2006.
Yes.
Yeah, the key difference is you get choice of units. The only difference is you need to wait a little bit longer. The TOP is perhaps about a year later. Yeah, but I mean, this is probably one of the rare kind of chances to buy into the One North transformation. Yeah. Then if you talk at the master plan and all that, right? There's so many different land parcels that are still available, not announced to be converted yet, but I think in future it slowly will. Right.
Those are towards the media circle side, which is, in terms of proximity to MRT, then actually that is a little bit less advantageous, because for us, we are also within about 7 to 8 minutes walk. So 2 MRT station with 1 being an interchange as well. So I think in terms of the position and the location, our plot right over here, the Hill at One North, is also more favorable in that sense as well. But of course, for all the upcoming launches, we'll still be doing a lot of banter series and review series. So keep a lookout on our content on our channel for all the content. I think that wraps up.
I have one last thing I wanted to share actually. So another thing is because sometimes when you are buying into, we have some research that we've done, right? So actually the Singapore market is supported predominantly by our locals and as well as PRs, right? Not so much the foreigner market. Actually, it's only less than 6% over the last 5 years. So I think one other thing you want to look for is the exit strategy. Who's going to buy to live here in future, right? So that's a lot of the HDB upgraders. In fact, a lot of the $1 million HDBs are in this area. Dawson, Ghim Moh, Clementi. Yeah, so I think that is one pool of exit kind of audience target upgraders that you have as well. Yeah. So if you're looking to maybe stay here just for maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe you want to move again or upgrade, then I think these are your potential pool of people that will buy into this one-off area as well.
So I think to sum up, plenty of transformation and rejuvenation. Government is also putting a lot of attention within this area. You have huge demand that's coming in, but yet the supply within this area is still pretty much limited vis-a-vis the demand that we're looking at. So I think still plenty of opportunity. Of course, I think if you're gunning in for more of the short-term kind of flip, then maybe this might not be the best, but I think if you're in here for the mid to long term, you are prepared to go in for, like, let's say a 8 to 10 years kind of horizon, waiting for the transformation to take place. Enjoy the location, enjoy the amenities that's around, enjoy the schools that's around for your family. I think this is still one of the very, very good projects to consider in this area. So if you are keen to find out more about this project, just feel free to reach out to us, any of our new launch sales consultant over here at PropertyLimBrothers. We'll be happy to arrange a consult session and share more with you in detail. But until then, I think thanks for following us on all our new launch content series.
This is our new launch tour bus series,
this
right?
is.
Hope you enjoyed it. I think myself and Joanne enjoyed showing you around this very beautiful development as well here at the Hill at 1 North. Alright, so we're going to sign off from here.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye. See you on the next one.